Hello friends, and welcome to Echoes of the Shore. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so very much. Echoes of the Shore is a lovely little survival series where I've given myself the goal of collecting 4 echoes so I can fully restore this island back to the way it originally was. And because it's been taking up so much of my time recently, I has been cutting into the fish caught amount that I usually would do per week. And that is, after all, the whole point of the series for me, is to just do a bunch of fishing and try and have a good time while I'm doing it. So, in today's video, I am going to be doing the most fishing I probably have ever done before. I'm going to be dedicating 5 days straight of uninterrupted fishing to trying to get my numbers back to where I feel like they should be. I don't know how well this is gonna work. I mean, I've got lots of other stuff I need to do in between, but honestly, I might have to just put those off until maybe another episode, because I really just want to do a bunch of fishing. There has been way too much building and way too much planning and stuff for this, so I think for this week I'm just going to put away anything else I've got planned for this, and we are just going to jump straight into fishing. With our starting point being, what was it, 26,000 fish? That's where we're starting at. So without further ado, let us jump straight into fishing. 2 seconds. And welcome back from the little fishing time lapse. This certainly has been a very eventful week for me in terms of fishing. I definitely think this is the most fishing I've done. I haven't checked my numbers yet, but it sure feels like it. Yeah, 41 hours, 41 hours of footage from using flashback and stuff for this, which doesn't surprise me at all, honestly. I think the most fishing I'd done before was maybe around like 4 days or so straight, and that was about 8,000 fish caught. So, at the end of our last episode, we were at 26,000 fish caught, and with an extra 5 days on top of that, and 41 hours of fishing, we are now at 35,267 fish caught. No way. I'll take it. I definitely could have done more as well. But as you know, Hightail came out recently, and I did end up playing it for a couple hours. So I did miss out on a little bit of fish caught, but that's okay. Hightail is very fun, and there definitely is going to be lots of Hightail videos in the future for sure. Actually, I think my very next video is going to be a Hightail related one, because there is lots of different fish and stuff in Hightail. So I am going to be trying to put aside a bunch of time to try and learn how the game works with like its fishing mechanics and stuff. Even though it doesn't have an actual like fishing rod, I still think it would be very fun to try. So we're gonna try to get some mechanics and stuff understood about like the fishing traps and everything, and like the bait system. I don't really know, but it's gonna be really cool. And with that, we are good to move on to what we're gonna be doing in today's video, and that is going to be this big old mega mountain over here. So I've been very much hard at work on trying to figure out what it is I wanted to do for this little mountain here. And this is what we've got so far, is this big old outline of the general shape of what we want. And it looks really good so far. The scale is perfect, I think. It doesn't make the island feel too small or anything, and the mountain isn't too imposing either. So it is definitely a doable job. So what I think we're going to do in today's video is we are going to go and see if we can gather up as much stone as we possibly can to fully finish roughing in the actual shape of the mountain. So we've got just the outline. So now our job is to extend all of the stone and stuff all the way up to the top so that it's one solid structure. And then, of course, after that, we're going to be able to go through and do all the texturing and everything, and it's going to be really cool as well. Admittedly, though, I have no idea how to texture mountains or really any of this stuff. This is all just pretty much on the fly. I think the last time I did a texturing job for like big mountains and stuff was in my hardcore world. I had this little mountain behind my Golden Farm village where I had a bunch of little sheep and chickens that went up to the very top. Gosh, that was such a long time ago. Anyway, I tried texturing it and it was really bad and I didn't know how to do it. So hopefully this will redeem me from my past mistakes and it's gonna be so cool. However, what isn't gonna be cool is the amount of stone that I need for this. So we're gonna have to go gather a bunch more stone now. Which isn't a problem. We've got a nice little strip mine downstairs. I do really want to go back to fishing though. I don't know why. But I just want to go back to fishing. Maybe I could do a little bit of fishing in between my strip mining and stuff, because I have a lot of stone that I need to gather, and a bunch of other materials that I don't really know of quite yet, because I don't know how I'm going to texture this. I know I want to do a sort of a gradient, but only in like darker spots. So we're not going to do like a dark to light gradient. We're actually going to choose spots on the mountain where we think shadows would be gathering. So like little crevasses or like tiny little holes in the mountain here. We're not just going to have dark on the bottom, light at the top. It's going to be light all the way across, but with the darker spots inside like the little holes and stuff. I feel like that makes more sense, and it would make it look a little bit better. And then maybe we can dot just a little bit of snow around to show that it is a mountain biome after all. I mean, actually, it's a lukewarm ocean biome. Anyway, we have a lot of stone that we need to gather. How many shulker boxes do I need to fill up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shulker boxes of stone that we're gonna gather right now. Oh, my wrists are gonna hate me really bad for this, but that's okay. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into getting a bunch of stone and stuff. 2 seconds. Welcome back from the little stone gathering time lapse. This actually is a lot more tedious than I expected. I definitely think in the future I really want to get a beacon to hopefully make these sorts of endeavors just a little bit easier and a bit less time consuming, because this was hours of work, and I don't know if I have enough stone for this, but I did manage to get a few shulker boxes full, so it's gonna have to work for the time being. Like, what was that? Like 3 or 4 shulker boxes of stone. I kept on running into water, which was an issue, but it's totally okay as well. On the bright side, though, we did get a bunch of resources from this. So we've got all kinds of iron, we've got lots of lapis and coal, and a bunch of other random stuff that I don't know if we'll need straight away. But it is good to have a backlog and stuff of the ores and stuff. Oh, actually, I did mean to go through and do a bit of surface mining to gather the stuff off the tops here that I missed. I do sometimes wonder though if maybe I should be doing something with villagers. I might not be one for like capturing villagers and stuff like that, but I do feel like they would be very, very, very helpful, as well as a bunch of like redstone farms and stuff. As long as it doesn't rely on everything dying around me, I'm fine with using it. So if it's just like plants and stuff, I can do that. But if it's like iron farms, there's no can do. But I do see lots of zombie villagers when I do my fishing and stuff. So I'm wondering maybe if it would be beneficial for me to save them, and then maybe I can make like some areas for them, and then I could actually have some form of renewability or something without needing to go absolutely insane with the resource gathering and stuff. So maybe in the future we can get a nice little upgrade of moving to trying to use some form of villagers for something, and then maybe also getting a beacon. I really, really want a beacon, but I also don't want to hurt the wither skeletons. So I'm kind of at a bit of a standstill with the beacon, but we'll see. I really wish there was a way to get wither skeleton skulls without having to beat them up. I wonder if you can get them from the ancient city. Is it just regular skeleton skulls you can find there? That would be really cool. I could do some ancient city exploring and get some little wither skeleton skulls from there. That'd be nice. Probably would take a lot longer, but as long as I don't have to hurt anything, that is all that matters. Yeah, that and fish. All right. Now that we've got all of our stone, I think we are finally good to go and get started on starting to actually put some of this stone where it belongs on this little mountain here. I just really hope this doesn't take very long. It's certainly, what am I talking about? This clearly is going to take forever. Can I even do this in 2 days? I sure hope so. We definitely got to try. This is a lot of stone I got to place. But if there is a will, there is definitely a way. So I think we're going to do a little tiny twirl. And there we go. There is our lovely little mountain. This was so difficult to do. My arm is in physical pain from the amount of stone that I've had to place in the past couple days. It is Saturday morning. It is 4 a.m. on Saturday, and I still haven't slept. Which means, this video will be up in about, 5 hours? 6 hours? Something like that. I've got a lot of work ahead of me. This is gonna be rough. So here is our lovely little mountain that we have spent the past couple of days putting together since our little twirl thing. And I think it looks really good. A lot of it is very, very random, very jagged little pieces of just stone and like spikiness, and it does look a little funny. But I do think it is okay for it being just a completely made up little mountain here that doesn't really have any solid structure or anything going on with it. It was really fun still to build, and I definitely have some very, very big plans for what it is I want to do in terms of like texturing for this whole deal. So maybe we'll go through and we'll do maybe for starters, maybe we could add a bit of cobblestone around, just kind of as like a as a bit more like to add just a little bit more texture or like variety to the actual stone for the maybe the lighter shades. So this whole mountain is going to remain stone, right? It's all going to look like this, but I'm still going to go through with like texturing and stuff, and the shadows and all that I've mentioned before. That's going to be really fun as well. But in the lighter sections, which is what the stone is going to be, like I was mentioning, I want to maybe add in bits and like patches of cobblestone for that bit of variation. I'm trying to explain this properly, but I don't know if I am. I'm sure you get it. There's just gonna be a bunch of cobblestone around, just so that it's not all quite the samesies all around. Then once we do all of the cobblestone and stuff, we're gonna go through and maybe add in just a couple of patches of the darker tones, and then some of the little bits of snow. Just a very little piece of them. Not all of it, of course. I don't have time for that. But just enough to get a small taste of what it is I want to do. So I've got a couple hours still where I can do all of this in. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me. So I better get started. So first things first, for trying to get started on the texturing and stuff, I need to figure out the actual like block palette for what I want to do. Now, I know it's probably going to be the shadows and the snow that are going to stick out the most. So clearly, for the snow, we're going to use actual like snow blocks, and then maybe we'll use like carpet snow for like little bits and stuff to like to help ease the transition between like solid white and like the actual stone parts. So we'll try to figure something out with that. But our actual like shadows for the mountain, I think I want to be I want it to be a bunch of mud. No, I know that sounds weird, but I really want these to be darker colors, but not a solid pitch black. So mud was definitely a good in between. So I think it's gonna go from mud to deep slate, then to tough, I think, and then to stone. And then maybe we can use a little bit of andesite as another texturing block. But for some reason in the texture pack I have, the stone and the andesite are exactly the same hue. So the only thing that changes is the actual like look of the block, like the way the grain is and everything, or granite, I don't know. So from a distance, stone and andesite are exactly the same to me. So I feel like maybe I could just keep on using stone and it'll be fine. Much easier to obtain anyway. So we need to go grab our mud really quickly and some of our deep slate, and we'll do a little tiny little patch of what it is I want to do very quickly, and maybe we'll put some snow on top. And ta-da! There we go. Here's a good example of what I want to do. Definitely didn't take me a long time. So all I've done here is I've gone through with a little bit of tuff and some cobblestone and some deep slate and some mud, and I added just a little bit of shadows into places where I feel like the darkness would be gathering, and I think it looks pretty cool so far. I also dug out a little path winding across the little mountain way here, and I did replace it all with some coarse dirt to make it look like it's like a little hiking trail. So we've got this tiny little path that winds all the way up to the very top of the mountain here. It looks pretty cool, and I definitely think that this mountain is gonna be so cool when it's done. Look at this. We got just a little bit of texturing just all around. So there's a couple of things here that I really enjoy. So the first one is the snow at the top of the mountain there. That is really nice. I really love the snow-capped mountains. So I'm definitely going to be going back through later on, and we're gonna be adding a bunch more snow around. Hopefully a bit more smooth, and a little easier to look at than this, but this is just a quick patch job of me trying to visually show what it is I have planned for this whole mountain here. So we've got all the snow on the top, we've got a bunch of cobblestone texture, which is actually what I decided to go with instead of the andesite, like I had said before, since they had like the same texture or everything. Cobblestone to me, I think stands out way better. So we did end up going with that one. And then this right here, this is what I meant by the texturing with like the shadows and stuff. So we've got the regular stone to tough to deep slate to mud in the deepest, darkest of places. And we've got this kind of just very, very slightly spread out throughout the entire mountain here. Now, once it's done, it is going to be a bit more extreme in terms of where the dark spots are going to be. Again, I just really wanted to show just some basic like spots where I think maybe some shadows could go to try and drive this home visually so you can see what I'm trying to come up with here. And I do eventually have plans again for adding a whole bunch of trees all over the place, as well as some much better shorelines, a whole bunch more texturing, and probably a bunch of other stuff as well that I can't think of right now. Oh, that's right. I forgot. I did go over here as well, and I've got this cool little idea of adding like little bits and like patches of grass, kind of like in a crumbly pattern. Oh goodness, ouch. Kind of in like a little crumbly pattern, kind of weaving its way through the bottom of the mountain here, and it makes it feel a whole lot more natural to me. I really quite like this. So this is certainly a start to what it is I actually want to get started over here. So definitely in the next episode, we are going to be doing the full texturing job. We're going to do all the resource gathering and everything, and it's going to be very cool. However, before we do all that, there are still a few things that I want to do in today's video. And this has been a very stressful video for me so far, so all I want to do is a little bit of relaxing. So I think I'm going to do one of my favorite things, and it's not fishing this time, I promise. I've already done a lot of that this week. You put 41 hours of that already. Well, I guess more than that, actually. I had to do even more fishing during my stone gathering because my pickaxe simply could not handle it. So I did have to mend it up again. So we did do a bit more fishing. What are we at now? 35,520. So what? We caught another 300 while we were there. No, we're not going to be doing fishing. Sorry. We are going to be doing a bunch of landscaping or shoreline scaping. Sandscaping? So I have had a tiny little bit of a head start on replacing some of the stone that I originally placed to rough out the general location of the shoreline. I replaced some of the stone here with the sandstone when I was doing the grass placement. So now all I've got to do is start refining this little shape here into something that I feel like actually fits into what this would look like. So we're going to try to keep this same sort of style here and then just wrap it around the corners here, as well as maybe a little bit of it on the very front of the mountain over here as well. We'll worry about the backside at a later date. I just am really struggling. I didn't realize how hard it would be to try and make another entire half of a video in less than 2 days. So I am sorry. I did way too much fishing this week. This is the downside of doing only fishing in a video, is I still feel like I'm obligated to try and do the same amount of like physical labor or physical labor in the game. So I end up running myself pretty thin, but it is still very fun. Anyway, we have a lot of shoreline stuff that we need to get started on. So let's just get it done really quick. And welcome back. We have been extremely busy working on the shoreline and stuff. Can I just say right now, I feel so much better. I feel so much better inside. This is all I've been missing. Goodness, it's been a while since I've been able to properly sit down and work on some actual shorelines, like the sand and stuff here. This was such a great time. I definitely am going to be continuing this as soon as I possibly can. However, I have unfortunately almost run out of time for today, so I did have to unfortunately stop in the middle of my actual sandstone building here. But I did get quite a lot done. Mostly just the front of the actual shorelines and stuff. So let me just take you along what I've done very quickly. So the very first thing that I did was I kind of scoped out what it is I wanted, or like how far along I wanted the shorelines to be. So I went through with a basic dirt path like I've done before with all of these other ones. I've ran a nice perimeter all the way along the shoreline to kind of map out the shape that I like. Now, the way I see it, when you're building shorelines, it's best to do it like kind of in a mountainscape where you've got these like peaks and then falls, just a bunch of triangles kind of in a row. I feel like that is the most like natural feeling way. Like whenever I try to do my building and stuff, I always try to find patterns that I can try to replicate so that my building style is a bit more consistent. So that's how I do my shorelines, is I do big mountains and like jagged little peaks, but only the shape, like the dirt and stuff. Like when I do the water here, it's like triangles. Here, let me see if I can show you very quickly. Yeah, there we go. See how we've got these triangles just kind of pointed all over the place. I don't know why that's what I do for some reason, but that's what I do. So I went through and I did a bunch of triangles all the way along to the point where I wanted the sand to end, and that was just about where this last piece of grass is. So for the most part, we do have a pretty good base of the sand made, but I haven't went through and smoothened it up and added any of the slabs on this section, and I'm not even close to being done with this one either. Look, we've still got to go up maybe 2 or 3 more blocks. But right here, so we just place this over the top, honestly, like this. And unfortunately, I don't have time to finish it, but I certainly have been having a great time doing it. Well, actually, you know what? I'm realizing now I probably could show you this. I could show you this a whole lot better through rockets. So give me a second. And 2 seconds later, we are looking fantastic. There we go. All right, so this very clearly shows all of the progress that I've made in the past, what was 7 days. I have not stopped playing the game except for just a few hours. This entire week just to play a hightail. Both of my arms hurt really bad from playing the game too much. So I might do maybe a little less next time. I will say that, or I might not. We'll see. Anyway, here's all the stuff that I did. So for the very first piece of sandscape that I did, it was the one that was connected to this cute little sandy offshoot thing. So we did this, we did this whole section, as well as a little tiny port. Oh my gosh, that looks awful. I didn't get to finish any of it, but I just roughed a lot of it in here, and added a few more of a separate variation of the spruce trees. Now, I don't know if it's something with my computer or something, but I'm having some really bad like map issues, I think, with my actual spruce leaves here, and they look very bad, and it's very choppy, and I don't really know how to fix that except for to use oak. See, these ones are not fluffy or choppy at all. Maybe it's because these textures have less like leaves on them and these ones are more full. I'm not really sure. But these ones, I think, look a little easier on the eyes, and they definitely are much simpler to build as well. It's just 3 little diagonal circles popped onto an oak log. So they were very fun to add to the landscape here, as well as a few rocks and stuff to break up the very busy sand that we've got. Now, the left side, I know, is very bad looking, but that's because it's not finished at all. It is all going to look like this eventually. It just is going to take a bit of refining, that's all. So that's the right side that we did, and we did do a little bit on this side. So far, we've got a couple of the trees added in a few locations, as well as, of course, our lovely little sandscape that we've got down there, and I think it looks beautiful. I'm very happy with how this has come out so far, and we've still got a lot of work to do on this mountain, including the location that I want to use for storing my echoes. That's right, I finally decided we're gonna have a little cave right here, I think. Is it maybe a little higher? Is it up higher, or is it here? It's probably right here. This seems like a good place. We're gonna have a little cave right here where all of our echoes are stored, and I'm so excited. This has been so much fun. This is so cool. We're doing a bunch of building and stuff. This is really nice. It's been a while since I've been able to just sit down and have a really like super chill video. Even though this one might seem very chill, I accidentally stressed myself out with the time constraints. So I still felt like I had to do the same amount in the video, even though I did almost a bit more than double the actual fishing. So that's pretty cool. I am fairly happy with all of this though. I wish I had maybe another day or two to fully refine our lovely little shorelines here and fix our rocks and everything. But this is the best I could do with what I had, and I had a fantastic time. Let's take one more tiny look at it from a distance to really see all that we've done today. This is so good. I'm so proud of this. And I could have done more if it wasn't for you meddling kids. And with that, I think I have officially run out of time. It is now less than 1 hour before I have to upload this. So I'm just gonna quickly export the whole video. And I thank you all so very much for watching this episode of Echoes of the Shore. I appreciate every single one of you. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.